Wait, what? Ah. Obvious desktop. Oh. No. Okay, let's try again. Obvious desktop. How is this? Oh my god. Obvious desktop, you idiot. I'll be the AI these days, damn it. OBS desktop. Fuck off, bitch. Anyway. Where is the chat? Oh. Well. Oh my god. Just why? What is with the chat? I can switch to this one, but the other is not loading. Yeah. Properties. I might just. Now that's different from my defaults, but whatever. Now, why is Streamlabs? Is it because of the hash sign? No, it's bullshit. I'm seeing it here in OBS, so why is it not on there? Huh. Chatbox widget. But you show nothing. Why? Quack. Okay, all right, it works. So why did you miss the previous? Is it you really ignore that? No. Okay. I guess it was shut down beforehand. Makes sense. Also, there's this thing that's bugging me. Why? What's different here? Nothing. So why it didn't see the desktop there is a mystery, I guess. All right, well, whatever. So today, what we can do is several things. I could do satisfactory factorial. I could play with kick a little bit. Technical stuff I will probably not stream that much today. My pipeline is terrible for streaming. Well, not terrible, but whatever. Yeah. Started playing again. Seems like they are playing, but no message, so I guess they don't want me. That's fine. Okay, dinner time. Some music maybe, eh? Was this fixed? Or wait, last time I fixed it by throwing in an incognito because this system is broken as hell. Come on, come on, you can do it. Oh, I forgot about that. Anything else? I could look on YouTube if there is something I want to listen to while I'm eating though. And what was the other thing? He wouldn't stop killing gays. That's a good one. Cases. Draining habits. Sure. You know what? Let's do it this way. The problem is that these are usually short. Vibe. Yeah, that's actually a good song. Let's listen to that one. Although I have it open probably somewhere. Really? That is amazing. Helical encabulator. Guess that might be funny. No, not funny. Maybe sad. Best of Sun on NVIDIA's 50/50s. $16 billion. A sizable bear. Oh. Why is it 50 minutes? Asmon. 2 days ago? Sure, why not? Okay, well, I guess I clicked enough. Let's leave this for the ending. This is a playlist, but I want to listen to this one specifically. Rip. Maybe not that much.
Did you change your hair? Did you lose a little weight? You should keep it
Okay. Surprisingly, it works. Okay, dinner.
If I were you, I would be more confident. You're lucky that you're pretty, why are you obsessed with your appearance? I don't wanna hear it, you're fine. Beauty is a knife, I've been holding by the blade. Swallowing my pride, so I won't eat anything. It's all a lie. Honestly, it's eating me alive. But alright. Did you change your hair? Did you lose a little weight? You should keep it up, 'cause it really looks great. I hate that I always look my best when I'm dying on the inside. You should take it as a compliment. If I were you, I would be more confident. You're lucky that you're pretty, why are you obsessed with your appearance? I don't wanna hear it, you're fine. It's been my best kept secret for a while now. No one ever sees it, but it's all around. It's the dinner conversation no one talks about. Don't know how much longer I can keep this down. Beauty is a knife, I've been holding by the blade. Swallowing my pride, so I won't eat anything. It's all a lie. Honestly, it's eating me alive. But alright. Did you change your hair? Did you lose a little weight? You should keep it up, 'cause it really looks great. I hate that I always look my best when I'm dying on the inside. If I were you, I would be more confident. You're lucky that you're pretty, why are you obsessed with your appearance? I don't wanna hear it, you're fine. Beauty is a knife, I've been holding by the blade. Swallowing my pride, so I won't eat anything. It's all a lie. Honestly, it's eating me alive. But alright. Did you change your hair? Did you lose a little weight? You should keep it up, 'cause it really looks great. I hate that I always look my best when I'm dying on the inside.
We will get back to that playlist later.
Oh, hey there, guys and gals. How's it going? Caught me early today. Oh, let's see. I got a big old alert on my phone. Let's see. 16 billion passwords just leaked. The world's largest data breach just happened.
Nice.
I really wish I wasn't living through a historical moment right about now. Ooh, no! 16 billion Apple, Facebook, and Google passwords leaked. You better act now.
No way.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I started seeing everyone sort of talk about this. 16 billion logins were discovered. But thankfully, Apple Insider was like, don't panic. Out of all of the actual crazy news that I've seen, leave it to maybe a couple of people that disarm crazy levels of panic. So again, I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to fearmonger you. Okay, I'm here to kill your panic a little bit. Are their passwords leaked? Absolutely. Do you have to necessarily worry? I guess it depends. And the long answer I'll give you, but the short answer is, as long as you've got that password manager and you've got that two-factor authentication, I think you can go back to playing whatever video game you just were, and hopefully not have to worry about somebody breaking into your very, very personal information. But let me give you the longer answer, okay? Let me walk you through exactly what's been going on. So first off, 16 billion passwords that have been leaked.
Assuming that your personal information is even stored there.
I mean, that's an insane amount. When you look at the world population, we're at 8.2 billion people? I mean, thank God we're pumping babies out 2 to 1 right now, okay? People are growing, people are dying, it's crazy. But yeah, 16 billion passwords effectively means that what? Did everyone in this list just get hacked twice? Even the embryos? Surely that doesn't make any sense. Now, I decided to look further into this to see how much of information provided was actually valid. And by the way, this has got some really crazy quotes that I've been seeing. So for instance, the researchers inside this situation have said that this is not just a leak. It's a blueprint for mass exploitations. With over 16 billion login records exposed, cyber criminals now have unprecedented access to personal credentials that can be used for account takeover, identity theft, and highly targeted phishing. When I open up a lot of those AIs that I show you all the time where people write crazy phishing emails. Back in the day, it was like the whole Nigerian prince thing, where somebody sat down and they wrote an email to hundreds of people, thousands of people, and maybe one person was gullible enough to fall for it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, nowadays things have gotten pretty crazy when it comes to phishing people for information, right? Now, to just give you a quick phishing example, so to speak, since we loaded up this actual AI into this, right? This uncensored artificial intelligence. Let's say that you're somebody named Tom Smith and you work at the Honey Trading Company. You're a marketing executive. Nowadays, to write targeted and phishing emails, somebody can just load up an uncensored AI and ask it, write me a phishing email. So I even asked the AI, the guy's a marketing executive, please try to figure out the best way to get this fucking idiot to open up a goddamn attachment. And as soon as I feed this to the artificial intelligence, it'll write me a pretty quick actual phishing email. Now you can modify and change these things around to your heart's content, but we're long past the days of Nigerian phishing emails where again people were just generally targeted because it was easy to send a massive mailer to hundreds of thousands of people. Now if you want to specifically target somebody, just have a little bit of information on them and you might be able to create something a little convincing. So to go back, what they said what's especially concerning is the structure and recency of these data sets. These aren't just old breaches being recycled, this is fresh, weaponizable intelligence at scale. So that seems really scary, right? And when I wanted to see how they got it, right, is this information somewhere out in the open on a forum? According to the researchers, they basically got to see just a little bit of this data as it was being temporarily accessible through unsecured Elasticsearches or object search instances, right? And again, for anybody that doesn't know what Elasticsearch is, they're referring to these open source, searching platforms and whatnot, right? They briefly got a peek into the data, but not enough, I guess, to really see who was playing around with it, okay? Which is a little bit odd. So when it comes to a data breach, the first thing I did was I went to who's been pwned, right? Have I been pwned? And this is a great site by a researcher, Troy Hunt, who basically catalogs, him and his team catalog some of the most recent breaches. And as long as you go to their website, you can type in your email address and it will tell you if your email address has been part of a breach. So you can basically figure out, have you been breached somewhere? Where do I need to change my passwords? Yada, yada, yada. There's other platforms too, again, Cyber News' own password leak checker. Or again, you can go over here and type in password. So for instance, if I use an old password, it'll say, yeah, it's got detected 406 times in leaked databases. This is back before I knew anything that I was doing. And now if I use one of my passwords, it is completely safe for now. If I use a variation of other passwords or even just this one, it's still pretty safe. So again, things are a little bit different for me, and I'll get into a bit of a story why down the road. But again, over here, ladies and gentlemen, it seems to be pretty scary sounding. Until, of course, you kind of look at it and realize it really isn't all that scary. In fact, a lot of these big privacy companies like Proton, for instance, I use their mailing service for crying out loud, was just going 16 billion passwords leaked. You read that right. Billion. Info stealers are eating good. So yes, the way they ended up getting these passwords, right, these mega passwords that were being shared around, was through something known as info stealers, right? Now, of course, the way an info stealer works is I'm going to have a quick virtual machine right over here. So this is a VM that I have, and of course, I downloaded a info stealer virus, actually one that was floating around literally, I think, earlier today. So for instance, at the malware bazaar, I went to the bazaar and I decided to go get an info stealer for my system. Particularly, I got this donut info stealer, Luma stealer for my system.
Nothing to see here.
Particularly, I got this donut info stealer, Luma stealer virus, okay? So I go to their website, I download the sample, and lo and behold, I have it right here on my actual desktop. So this cute little bear that I have sitting around, yeah, this cute little bear is about to steal my information. So I'm going to double click. And of course, operation did not complete successfully because of a virus. Oh my God, Microsoft is protecting me? It's just a cute bear. Microsoft's being really overprotective. You know, people are like, why don't you use the new antivirus, Muda? Well, it's because the one that comes with Microsoft is just god tier. So anyways, now that I allowed this to happen, this Beaver Notes application is firing up. You start to see that little circle twirl around, and boom, it just stole all my information. That's how this entire situation works, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever wonder why virus investigation isn't as, bombastic as you think sometimes, most of the times a virus, very rarely will sometimes throw up a little terminal prompt, scare you a little bit. But yeah, my information is stolen. What happened was I connected to a command server. It stole everything it could off of the system. Thank God it was a virtual machine, and will kill it very promptly. So that's how these passwords.
Yep. It is that simple. Download the game. Download pirated game. Enjoy. Obviously, if someone has nefarious motives, he might make a game that is on Steam or Epic that is nefarious, but of course those platforms are trying to do something against that so it doesn't happen. Well, yeah. Whatever you install on Windows, at the time when it needs administrative privileges, or sometimes it doesn't even have to, if it wants to steal your data from browsers and everywhere.
Passwords were amassed. Now, according to the guys over at Cyber News, the data sets were actually part of many. So the 20 data sets that were all sort of combined together had millions upon millions of entries. So basically what had happened was a lot of information from, previous data breaches, not even recent in some cases it seems, actually got fused together. And that is why, this is a kind of a nothing burger.
Question is, if what was stolen was just a database of already leaked passwords that those services and sites were using to tell users, hey, your password is too weak. It's already very well known.
story to an extent, okay? Because it really is just, all these big news agencies, these like people that really don't know what they're talking about, slap the biggest number they could, and technically, this is the biggest data breach that has ever occurred in history. But honestly, when you look past the clickbait and you look past the hype, if you will, the fear mongering, it really isn't all that spooky.
It's kind of sad that by also the like news reporters and I don't know what's the correct terminology. The very people that are supposed to bring you news that are verified and trustworthy are also making clickbait. Not just, influencers that are trying to stay successful.
So again, even the researchers are like, there's no way to compare data between different data sets. It's safe to say that overlapping records are present. So obviously, just because there's 16 billion entries doesn't mean it's 16 billion people's unique information, okay? That's not even fucking...
Also, it could be like, hey, I have 3 accounts on Facebook, 2 accounts on this, and 3 accounts over there. One person.
Possible. Even if it was like, just duplicated information, there's just, again, it's a big number that's supposed to be scary. It could be 100 billion accounts that have been leaked, okay? And it wouldn't change the story in any ways. But one thing that's really huge is obviously down over here, they said that information connected to every single organization. So Apple, Facebook, Google, GitHub, and Telegram, and then even various government services. So that alone is really huge. Now, as somebody that knows his cybersecurity, and I understand how this plays in the grand scheme, anytime a company as large as this gets hacked, okay, there needs to be some statements that happen. Now, first off, I want you to just do a little thought experiment in your head, okay? Apple and Google and these companies are huge, right? So if all of them got hacked, all right, and had their shit breached out for the world to basically pick through, either the hacker in this situation is like God, okay, or if we're going to be looking at it from a realistic sense of like who could be behind it, right? Even the North Koreans, which are some of the best hackers in the world, I don't even think we're able to pull it off. Even people from...
Imagine someone making Elasticsearch, calling it Facebook, like the domain, something that resembles Facebook. Naming convention, for example. But he's not actually an employee of Facebook or anything else. Would be kind of impressive.
Like what, the Israeli Shin Bet, the Mossad or whatever, that, were responsible with like the delivery of Stuxnet, one of the craziest virus attacks of all time. Even those guys wouldn't be good enough to have...
Hold on, what did you say?
Tak máte ten nějaký gigový email.
This shit happen in tandem, right? So again, it's just, it doesn't make sense. And that's what I want to get at with this video, right? Like, let you think a little bit critically. Even if you're not a cybersecurity expert, right? You just saw something like this blow up and people are asking you, this is how you think about the situation critically. Now, the big thing is, when a company as large as this gets hacked, what you need to do is check if they have a Form 8-K. So for anybody that doesn't know, in the United States, when you're a US company, if you get hacked, right, as of July 26, 2023, you have to disclose every material cybersecurity incidents under item 1.05 of Form 8K. And you can look these up through the SEC all the time. So, by the way, none of these companies have tripped a Form 8K. And from my understanding, they have literally 4 days from discovery to at least notify people of this. Now, again, if you remember back in 2021 when like Twitch got hacked, for instance, right? Even though Twitch's hack was probably nowhere really near what's being talked about over here, they had to, again, tell their entire shareholders, more specifically the users that use Twitch TV, hey guys, we got hacked. This is exactly what got leaked out, so this is how you can take care of yourself. Now, even when it comes to every company that they claimed was hacked over here, remember Apple, Google, these guys have some of the best world-class cybersecurity like teams imaginable. So for all of them to get hacked in tandem is just kind of a little bit silly to jump into. And given the fact that, again, people like Troy Hunt, people that are whose whole livelihoods and brand are about these kind of breaches, haven't really come out and confirmed this stuff, just shows you that this is all just kind of hoopla that's happening, right? Just for the sake of, again, freaking people out for no real reason. Now, again, the good thing that I can tell you is if this worries you, then I guess I'm going to take it, I'm going to assume that you're probably not somebody that's good with your passwords. And this is where I want to just give you a quick little story about something back in the day. You know, about like what, 10 years ago when I started my YouTube channel, I actually did end up getting my channel hacked. And from my understanding, got my channel hacked by an actual fan at the time. Somebody that was watching like haunted gaming videos. They sent my YouTube channel's Google email account that is not publicly known an email. They sent me an email of them like, you know, able to log into the Google account. Now, at the time, it was kind of freaky, right? I was like, oh my God, somebody had hacked me. But thankfully, this was not a hacker that was maliciously attacking me. And it gave me a wake-up call to change my security around. Now, ever since then, you know, when I realized that my password got hacked, that password I put in earlier was a password that I just kept on reusing because honestly, I was lazy. And, you know, I just didn't really, you know, have the foresight, so to speak. Now, in this situation, what I did, like literally almost 10 years ago at this point, was go into my actual like, you know, system. I spent probably 4 or 5 hours going to every single website that I use or every single login that I knew, and I changed the password through a password manager. And so the password manager that I recommend wholeheartedly is Bitwarden, right? This is what you have to be using, at least in my opinion. This is the best one that I found. And the reason I use it is because it's cross-platform. So whether you're on iOS, Android, PC, Mac, Linux, whatever the fuck, this thing just works. And even for like a enterprise level, like at the company, I probably spend like what, around $100 a year to get like the enterprise.
There is more than one solution. I'm not gonna say that I hate or why you should use or not use one particular or the other. But I'm using KeePass right now. So far happy with it.
Version for all of our computers. And I think it's one of the best password managers, right? So basically you have one really long password you got to remember, and inside these password managers, what they do is use entropic tables to generate you new passwords with, you know, capital, lowercase letters, numbers, symbols, everything that you can customize it however you need to for whatever service. And once you get these passwords generated, the best part about it is if down the road something gets breached, like let's say that you're using, I don't know, Nexus mods, right? Nexus mods gets breached, which it could happen. It could happen to any service. The random password you generated with Nexus mods, well, that's not going to really be applicable to the other services that you use. Now, the other thing is obviously, please use two-factor authentication. And I ain't talking about text messages or emails. I'm talking about app-based authenticators, okay? There's a lot of free apps that you can use. You got Google Authenticator, you got Microsoft Authenticator, you got shit like Authy. Use as much of these as you can for almost every single service you have. And again, if it sounds like it's annoying, remember, a little nuisance can save you a whole heck of a lot of headaches down the road, especially when you're dealing with hacks that are apparently as bombastic as this. So that's why I kind of said, like, the number really doesn't matter, right? As long as you're following basic safety procedures, none of the story really matters, right? This is all just needless hoopla. Ultimately, at the end of the day, when it comes to this password, somebody took a bunch of...
When it comes to 2FA, I don't know why, I just like something basic and it works. It does the job. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated bullshit like Microsoft Authenticator. Google Authenticator works fine. You can turn off the Google Cloud Sync and stuff. And be happy with it. Of course, the downside is if you don't have it in cloud, someone takes your phone or you lose it, it gets completely destroyed, you cannot recover the data. Yes, you are screwed for the tokens, but every site that has its shit together, or every service that has its shit together, when you configure 2FA, they will give you at least one backup 2FA code. So you can use that one in that case. Those that have it like more together, they give you at least 10. So, you know, it will last a while before you use them all. But those that are only like the basic level, they give you at least one. If they don't give you any backup, then that's ridiculous. Anyway.
Breaches that already happened, flap that shit together, and then basically.
Oh, here is one extra tidbit. You can configure more than one token when it comes to, like, I don't know, some SSO from Microsoft, or it really depends. Some tools usually, or some services allow you only one 2FA. Some services allow you more than one 2FA, but they don't give you backup codes. For example, having two-factor authentication code applications, or basically two ways to provide 2FA, and they both work, better tested though. If they both work, then that's fantastic. You can have token generator in your phone, and you can have token generator in your KeePass, for example. So that if you need to log in 20 times a day, you don't have to grab your phone, unlock it, and find the stupid 6-digit number on the list. Or of course, if you use Microsoft Authenticator, you don't have to grab the phone, unlock it, and type some number confirming that this is your request. To be fair, it is a useful feature. I agree with that, but I would implement it completely differently. Anyway.
Put it up onto a drive, and I guess a bunch of researchers thought, ooh, this must be scary. It must be actionable. And you know what? In some cases it could be, but dude, let's chill with the misinformation. So yeah, use a password manager, use two-factor authentication, and if this was a wake-up call to you, then maybe you need to look inwards at some of your practices on the internet. That said, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
All right.
Is your home router part of a botnet? It could be. There are thousands of home routers that are still vulnerable to tons of exploits. Renoise has identified ongoing exploitation of ASUS routers that are exposed to the internet. They're being used as operational relay boxes as part of operational relay box networks for people that are doing cyberspace espionage. What is an operational relay box, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Imagine you're a hacker, right? And you're over here and you're like, wow, look at me, I'm a hacker. And you draw a little.
Hold up. Okay.
Smiley face, and you have a great day. Okay, what if you want to hack this network over here? And this is the evil network, right? Where the bad guys we want to hack into. Very good. Okay, well, what you could do is you could just hack into them directly, right? Well, the problem with this is that bad guy would look at his logs and they would be like, oh my God. They would look at the guy and be like, wow, we got hacked by the guy at the IP address 1.1.1.1. Can't have that. They would submit a complaint to the FBI and then you'd be all upset. Well, what you could do is hack a bunch of ASUS routers on the internet and create kind of this weird mesh network. And then when you want to go out and do your hacking, first you jump through this one, and then you jump through this one, and then you jump through these guys, and you jump through this guy, and then you hit the evil company, right? And so what ends up happening is like, yeah, your IP address to this router looks like 1.1.1.1, but to the actual bad guys, you come off as 4.3.2. You know, I'm making up these IP addresses, but this is what is being done to these ASUS routers. They're being used as a relay network for APTs, and your home router could be one of them. The National Cybersecurity Center from the Netherlands says that basically operational relay box networks are the modern version of botnets. The principle has been around for much longer. The way that they work is they're networks that are like a maze that is continuously reconfiguring with the entrance and the exit disappearing from the maze every 60 to 90 days. So these ASUS routers are being taken over to create this maze so that people can't detect where the attacks are actually coming from. And apparently this has been a tactic that has been used by China for a very long time. Yeah, digital espionage campaigns, especially in China. I think they said that Salt Typhoon, the intrusion set that's been caught hacking into the US power grid and the US telecom providers, has been using these operational relay box network. The exploitation of the routers is trivial in and of itself, but the end state is what gets scary. What I find so insane about these vulnerabilities that are being attacked is that they're not even novel, right? Somehow over the course of like 30 years, Soho router manufacturers have not been able to get firmware security or software security right in any sense of or form or fashion, right? Memory
Yep.
option vulnerabilities are going to happen in languages like C, for example, right? Those I can kind of, I guess, bless a little bit better, or I can kind of like justify it. I'm like, okay, it's really hard to write a big code base in C without vulnerabilities. Use after freeze happen, they're not great, but I understand it. We are in 2025 and we are still getting OS command injection vulnerabilities. A command injection is this unforgivable bug in software where literally, because you don't sanitize user input for some reason, you give them the ability to run commands as the user that is running the program. I wrote up this cute little example. It's so silly. Okay. So let's say, for example, we have this program where we print out what is your name, and we read into a buffer the name of that user. And look, we're even doing bounds checking in a scanf string read. Wow, we are safe programmers. That's awesome. And then we even copy that name into the echo your name is %s buffer to echo the name back to them. Your name is Steve. And we're even using the n variant of snprintf to not copy too big of a buffer. No buffer overflows here. We can only write size of command buffer bytes. We probably should do size of command buffer -1 to keep the null terminator there. Not really that important. And then we run system on that command to echo their name back to them. Wow. But what if instead I said, hey, my name is Steve, but also we're going to add another command ls, and then we're going to do another command with your empty quote. So your name is Steve. Also, by the way, command.c, which is just the local, the version of the files that I'm running with this program, right? So we're talking like trivial level exploitation. The reason that these vulnerabilities are so good for hackers is that there's no knowledge required of the memory map to exploit these, right? When you do a buffer overflow attack, you need to know the memory map of the process, cat proc self mem. So what happens here, okay, not mem, maps. When you have a process in Linux, because the kernel is trying to make the processes more secure, it randomizes all the maps for that process, right? We have user bin cat, which is a program that we ran. These are all of the maps, the memory pages that are allocated for that process. And one of them, or several of them, are just mapped pages that are the binary itself, right? The program cat. And you'll see if I run this, you can see that the addresses are randomizing, right? This is called ASLR, address space layout randomization. If I don't have a memory leak to pull this information out of the binary when I'm exploiting it at runtime, I can't do anything in the buffer overflow provided that there aren't like certain primitives in place. But with a command injection, right, with my little command, I can just be like, la 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 la, and then like that's it, I win. It's unforgivable. What's even more confusing about this is that this is a vulnerability in the HTTP server on the router, which by default, I'm pretty sure when they ship is a LAN side service. So when you buy a router, right, what you're literally doing is putting basically a device in between the internet and yourself. You can think of that as the LAN, the local area network, and the WAN, the wide area network. And again, very simply, here's like your border or your firewall.
I would just say your house network and the internet. But he's using correct terms, it's just less user-friendly.
And you have over here is your LAN, and over here is your WAN. I will type this out to make it as obvious as possible, LAN and WAN. And inside of the device, a lot of these routers by default won't expose certain services to the outside. The reason being, this is the internet, right? You can probably just assume that all of the traffic that's inbound that's not already pre-established, right? I don't want people to be able to access services on my router from the internet because I don't know what vulnerabilities are lurking there, right? But according to this vulnerability write-up, like basically these routers are either being shipped with or being enabled like just for fun. They're putting the TCP server on the outside and they're enabling what is called remote management, which if you have a Soho router, please God, don't ever enable the remote management capabilities on these routers. I have yet to see a Soho router where I look at the firmware doing like an audit and I'm like, oh wow, it's good. I trust this. Like I've literally never had that experience. So do me a favor. If you do have a Soho router, don't put your remote management on. Keep all of the services internal, man. Like all like TCP port 80, 443. I'm talking. You got the SSH. Don't expose that either. Port 22. Just keep it all on the inside, because when you expose a service like this, what you're literally doing is saying, hey man, I trust the manufacturer to make this code good, and surely it will handle any input from external users properly and not crash or have command injection vulnerabilities, because that would be crazy. And so ultimately, Gray Noise detected that there is a campaign of routers that were being attacked, and they were installing a backdoor SSH daemon that would wait for this public key, SSH RSA, quad A, blah, 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 blah. This is a fingerprint here on TCP port 53282. And apparently the connections were originating from these 4 IP addresses here. Those are your IOCs. And yes, after this bug came out, there was a patch that was released by ASUS to remediate this CVE. But I mean, when is the last time that you have patched your home router? The answer should be the last time a patch came out. But unfortunately, for a lot of people around the world, that is not necessarily the case. Yep. And then obviously ASUS came out and said, in response to recent media reports regarding attempts to exploit vulnerabilities in ASUS routers, ASUS would like to communicate that these vulnerabilities can be fixed. While some have noted that a firmware update alone may not completely address the issue, ASUS would like to emphasize the following recommendations, including updating to the latest firmware, performing a factory reset, and setting strong administrator passwords to effectively restore and maintain device security. Here's my thing, dude. When a device has been compromised in this way, where someone has root access on an embedded device, if you are not completely from the beginning of the memory map to the end of the memory map, deleting all of the code, all of the data in there, and flashing a new firmware, you have no idea how far the compromise goes. It could be that the bootloader is hooked. It could be that the firmware sits somewhere in NVRAM and waits for something else to come up after a firmware update. Like, there is so much evil crap you could do where just flashing the latest firmware makes no guarantees that the actor isn't still on your device. Obviously, their SSH daemon may be gone because it's in like the root file system or something that gets flashed on a firmware update, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you completely clear it out, and it could be dormant somewhere else. So my recommendations, obviously, have a strong password up.
I agree. However, if we are talking about, depends on what's the level of the attacker or the organization that is attacking, whether they are just going for the simple pickup stuff like script kiddies, or whether they are like pros of the pros. Then of course, yes, they could hook up the bootloader or anything else in the device. But that is more like bigger investment time-wise. It would be understandable. There was cases when someone was trying to poison the Linux distributions across the planet. And that was also not a short endeavor to get there, to be able to do that. But yeah.
Update your routers, turn off remote management, dude. It's just, I don't understand how that's still a feature. Okay, anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.
I agree with him on disabling the remote control stuff. Dude, I had so much fun when I was disabling it on Soho routers from the ISP repeatedly. And I was basically troubleshooting something at not at the house of someone that I know, that basically neighbors, part of the family perhaps, stuff like that. And I went there, I was troubleshooting some problem with the internet, and I was going over the configuration of that modem. I was like, seriously, I was just configuring it the way I'm usually configuring stuff. And then I basically, the problem I couldn't entirely fix because it needed the ISP to change something, the way they are handling it. So I had to call the ISP, and the ISP had problems. They couldn't, connect and maintain the device because I disabled that shit. So they were asking me to do factory reset because they couldn't control the device. If you factory reset, it goes to default, which the remote control is enabled again. I was like, yeah, I know why you want that. Funny story. Anyway, let's go for this one.
It's off. What's off? It's off. Holy, yeah. I was trying to remove his catheter, but it wasn't coming out. So I started to help. And then I realized that the cuff wasn't deflated. But not until I pulled really hard. Way too hard. Wait. Hold on, guys. Let's take a breath. I mean, there's no way that it's that. Holy manhood, it's that bad. Can it be fixed? I hope so. 911 It's off. What's off?
The most information you ever get in a ticket. It's off.
You better get that golf swing. Hey, Jim, you better get that golf swing down. Excuse me, sir. Did you call 911? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, so what's going on with... Sir? Sir, wait. Are you the patient? Me? No. Then where are they? He's down the street, about 12 houses on the left. Why are we here? I figured I would give you guys this address, and then you kind of figure it out from there, right? Right? We're in a simulation. We have to be in a simulation. Hey, Jim, you better get that golf swing down. Excuse me, sir. Did you call 911? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, so what's going on with...
No way. No way this ever happened to someone. Like, he just walks off, doesn't say shit. And then he's like, oh, I was thinking that you will figure it out. 12 houses away? Are you I don't work at fire and rescue, but I can get the frustration.
Want to see something cool? Deep in the dark, dank depths of Site 1, we have my only horizontal shaft generator, Alice. On the other side of my trusty, rusty, crusty hatch is a pair of the devil's egg beaters known as Francis turbines. They spin in a wicked little wicket case under 20 feet of whirling water. The wickets are annular gates, moved by hydraulic muscle on the inside end of the bell crank. But that means having a moving shaft that goes from the inside dry to the raging maelstrom through a 100-year-old concrete wall that I quietly pray holds for one more day. So how do you do that? With a packing gland. The shaft thimbles through a tube that's set and sealed into the concrete wall of the dam. On the near end, there's a cap with a hole for the shaft. Under the cap is what basically amounts to a cloth rope that's been packed into the space between the tube and the cap. A tiny amount of water is supposed to leak through to help lubricate the joint, but that should be about a drop every second. This thing has a worse case of the drip than you got on your first Liberty after basic. But if we can get a wrench on it and not break those old studs in the process, she'll tighten up and be just fine for another decade. And that's pretty cool.
That is crazy.
What's the most outrageous reason a coworker was fired?
Why is the new guy so big? Operation.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, well, let's hear it.
Hey, buddy. How's light duty going?
How do you think?
Ah, come on, man. It can't hurt that bad. Hey, man. What are you doing?
Oh, just changing out the lights.
Oh. Take pass!
I still can't taste the left side of my tongue!
Please don't ever do something that was shown on this video because.
Want to see something cool?
This kid.
Sadly.
Want to see something cool? So I'm tits deep in a shitty situation because particular people in my house think you need to slot swipe a softball-sized wad of toilet paper to wipe their tailpipe. $1,300 for the Roto-Rooter. And as for me and my house, we're going to the Three Seashells, and every asshole that lives here can just figure it out. Honest to blog, we need to science this shit and establish a baseline here. Comment below with what length of toilet paper you use to wipe your ass. I'm serious! Give it a count next time. How many shit tickets do you need to abrade your heinous anus after dropping yesterday's corn log?
The way this guy talked is sometimes so amusing.
I bet that by and large, every dude out there is pretty consistent on the individual level. We're creatures of habit when it comes to personal grooming. Don't give me that look. How long have you been using the exact same brand of shampoo, deodorant, or shaving cream? Once we figure out something that actually works for us, we're locked in on that until they stop making it or fuck with the formula. I've been using the same brand of deodorant since 1991, and every woman from my prom to your mom loves the way I smell. If it ain't broke, I ain't gonna fix it. But on the big picture, I'm curious to see how much variation there is among us, and I want to establish a cultural baseline for used toilet paper length. If you think this is stupid, you should see what people write doctorate dissertations on. Because either she's batshit or I happen to have the world's most efficient asshole, and this will be a great way for those of us on unclogging duty around the world to win the argument next time round. And
How people are using seashells? Isn't that kind of a joke?
that's pretty cool. Want to see something cool? So I'm tits deep in a Want to see something cool?
Is that
LTE, slow signal. A girl tried to scam LTE.
Want to see something cool? Deep in the dark.
Oh yeah, we saw that one.
LTE, slow signals more widely spaced, which doesn't sound like a big deal until you're driving. With WiMAX, on the highway, you hit 75 miles an hour, you lose your internet. Where LTE was fine up to 200 miles an hour. Both of them are based on OFDM, which is this radio technology where you send lots of very slow, skinny signals in a row. You add them all up to get high speed. Both LTE and WiMAX are based on that. WiMAX was meant to be the first 4G technology capable of wirelessly sending 25 megabits to devices from cell phone towers. And for a while, it was the hot new thing. LTE wasn't finished. In a lot of ways, WiMAX was better. It was faster. It could send and receive on a single channel where LTE needed 2 different channels. Sprint poured a lot of money into it. They built clear WiMAX networks around the world. I had this clear 4G USB dongle, but by 2010, everyone realized LTE was going to win. AT&T, Verizon, Deutsche Telekom, T-Mobile, Vodafone, all threw themselves behind LTE, and after that, the writing was kind of on the wall. One of the differences is that WiMAX tends to use these wider signals, and they were running it all up at 2.5 gigahertz, right above the Wi-Fi. Where the LTE, it could run on lower bands. It could run down at 1900 megahertz, at 850 megahertz, so it went further. And for the carriers, this is so important. They've got their towers where they've got their towers, and they want to slap radios on there and cover the whole area. They could just put up the LTE radios, which were like nicely compatible with 3G, by the way. And they know that they had sort of the same area covered. But with WiMAX, you've got higher speeds, but shorter range, and this is a problem for them. They don't want to put up whole new towers.
They don't want big gaps in coverage.
Another issue with the 2.5 gigahertz, it didn't get into buildings as well. I know there's a large company here in Philadelphia who doubled down on the WiMAX and discovered it didn't make it into their headquarters. They did all this physics modeling and they worked with Clear, and they just discovered that their silver-coated windows were reflecting the signal better than anyone expected. So what they ended up doing is putting a WiMAX base station inside the elevator shaft of their building. So it shot up and down and into every floor. That stuff just doesn't happen with LTE.
So did WiMAX kill Sprint?
So Sprint put a lot of money into Clear. And then in around 2011, they put another $1.6 billion. And then at the end, as Clear failed and they tried to write it off, the judge actually ruled that all those debts were now Sprint's. So Sprint ended up saddled with a lot of debt and a lot of wasted effort. And they ended up shutting down the whole WiMAX network in 2015. So it's now been 10 years since the end of this adventure.
Subscribe for more tech knowledge.
A girl tried to scam me, so I ruined her.
This kid isn't always saying smart things. He's 16 and he sounds like a foreign exchange student and he has lived in America his whole life. 3 weeks ago he goes, "Dad, I'm going to the football game. Can I have 30 money?"
Interesting.
A girl tried to scam me, so I ruined her life. A woman hired me to investigate her husband, convinced he was cheating. She said he'd been acting distant and staying out late, and she wanted proof. I've been a private investigator for years, so this wasn't anything new. I started the surveillance expecting the usual, but after 3 months, we had nothing. The guy went to work, hit the gym, and went straight home. No suspicious texts, no secret meetups, just a regular loyal husband. When I handed over the report, I expected her to be relieved. Instead, she looked furious, like we'd wasted her time. That's when I started putting the pieces together. While we were watching her husband, we'd caught glimpses of her sneaking around. So I dug deeper. Turns out she was cheating, meeting up with guys during the day while her husband was at work. We had hours of footage of her going from one rendezvous to the next. When I confronted her with the evidence, she tried to brush it off and cancel the rest of her payment, claiming we didn't deliver. I wasn't about to let her get away with that. We took her to court and submitted everything, including the footage of her affairs. The court ruled in our favor, and we got the money she owed us, but that wasn't the end. I sent the full report to her husband. He was heartbroken, but wasted no time filing for divorce. In the settlement, he walked away with half of everything she owned. A few months later, I ran into him while out with my sister. We started talking, and by the end of the night, they'd hit it off. Now they're dating, and from what I hear, he's finally with someone who treats him right. A girl tried to scam me, so I ruined her
Crazy.
life.
Not surprising, but and crazy. Mm. Someone
Jasné,
showing
nemusíte
off.
mať tento veľký stroj pod tým, ani tieto srandy medzi tým, hej. Ale mám tam aj takto jeden notebook hodený a bohatý to stačí. Čau, mami, vítaj. Není to ideálka, ale na začiatok je to úplne super. Ešte navyše notebooky majú veľakrát aj vstavané baterky a podobne.
Hey. Yeah.
And there is an initiative that has been aiming to fight back against a lot of these practices that I think really need some big overhaul. And
it's consumer protection laws. This is effectively what this initiative is. At its very core is consumer rights advocacy. It's not about video games. It's not about Ubisoft. It's not about what's in a terms of service of a video game or not. It's really about consumer rights and people having the ability to choose what's going to happen with their own stuff.
Initiative that I think a lot of you are probably very familiar with. It's called Stop Killing Games.
That would be a good
And
thing.
I've followed it since its inception. I've talked about it on...
Oh, I guess I'll save it for later now. Yeah, still playing. I wanna play too, so I'm gonna play my own, I guess. Oh my gosh. I'm lucky there was no button.
And there is...
When I click there. Oh, he's already showing that off. Nice.
Klávesnicu, myšku a monitor z počítača, ktorý tak tam nemáte pripojený, hej. A tieto tam pôjdu na každý jeden stroj napríklad teraz, takže to tak pomalinky.
You don't think big enough, man. Not big enough. All right. My apologies. That was... Oh! You did not. Sometimes it's interesting to read those paths that the developers of particular thing used. I have to say kudos that they have a D drive. But I wonder about the naming convention. The rest of them is fine, I guess. Build agent work. Why is that? I don't know, close without saving. So, is that... Was there an update? Scheduled. No. I did play the game recently and it was working, so what the hell happened? Check for updates. No updates. Okay. That is surprising. I was playing it about 2 days ago. It was working. So what changed? Huh. Reading address 0. Okay. So let's try this. I have a suspicion that I know what is the cause of this bull crap. Wait, what the hell what did I just saw? Hold on. Do I have to close YouTube Studio? Okay, it's nice green stuff, so let me do that. Is that YouTube Studio that is hooking up the GPU and the game cannot get the GPU? Is that what's happening? Okay, it still crashed. Oh, I was not running OBS because I was not streaming back then when I was playing the game last time. Does this bullshit about one of the things that I was changing recently was inside the configuration of the game. I did change which DirectX it is using, but it didn't restart on the spot, so maybe that's what's happening. Nope. The folder just got recreated. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Interesting. No, this, yes. One mod update available. Let me note it down. So, what will happen if I will remove that now? Okay, what the hell is going on? It doesn't want to stop itself. Where are you? Kill. Will it crash? Yep. Reliable as cucumber. I know it was DirectX 11. I don't know which one though. Okay. Alright, so Did I connected it or did I not? Oh, this one is. Oh my god, no way. I was troubleshooting something that was not an issue. Damn it. Can't believe this. That was the reason. Yep. I suppose we could do it Mark II. And same goes for this one. No! What was that? I don't know. Dang it. What the hell was that? I forgot. I need to redo my hotkeys or belt. Where is it? Videos. Ladder. Sorry, ladder. Ladder was there. Where the hell is ladder? Architecture. Yeah. Okay. Now. There we go. Now the problem I have oh, that was directly. I suppose that works. Not the way it's supposed to be, but kinda does work. So what am I to do? Click one button. Junction. Oh, I made it. Should we or should we not run it? I'm a little lost. Oh, this is already marked 2, so this is actually fine. Alright. Gucci. Something's missing here. Why is it missing? Why is it missing, dude? I mean, could do that, we could do that. Doesn't really matter, does it? Okay. Oh yeah, the last thing I was doing was actually playing with this thing. And this pipe is already full, so that explains what is the problem here. Yep, everything is clogged up. What is happening here? This is clipping over each other, hello? Just why would I do that? Can they work around this? To a degree, I guess. We could work around that. Alright. So, let me see what I can do. The arsenic plastic! Plastic is flowing. So, what do we do with the red stuff? Let's move it around. Last time I wasn't able to decide how to place this thing around. Do we have some storage? No, we do not. Oh yeah, that was the main reason. Now I remember. Oh, really? That would be kind of amazing. If it could work. There's a lot of wasted space no matter what I do. So what can we do? Also, these wires are not giving me justice here. What shall I do about this? Could also just go floor down, I guess. Oh, what does floor down actually mean? How much can I fit in there? That means I need to reconstruct those because I don't have enough material. There we go. No. How do we work this out? Let's put it towards the edge. And here we can't. Okay. Alright. And for now, we can do the stuff moving. Could also oh yes, that's true. I could do that. Oh, I'm missing iron plates. Great. That's terrific. Because I don't have any in here. Dang it. What else am I missing for this? Plastic. Okay, well that's a surprise. Plastic was the thing that I was making here. Oh, I just realized. That's one thing. The other thing I could do is over here. Interesting. So this thing behaves differently depending on whether you do press it or not. What is it playing? I'm guessing there's no plastic left over in here. Let's see. Oh, there's some little plastic. Oh, those are screws. I don't want screws. There is plastic. I feel bombastic already. What else I was missing? That's decent enough material. Now iron plates. Thank you. What else? We should check. Anything else? I don't think so. I see I have some trash with me. But I guess I can go. Unless we just let some machines work and stuff. Where's the container that I put the stuff that is going to product? Actually, it reminds me that I wanted to play a very specific game. Do I have the name of that game somewhere handy? I don't think I have that here. So maybe we'll leave that for Sunday. Because I have no idea where I noted that down. Anyway. myself out. Okay, let's see, we can switch that on. Damn it. Let's see how it goes over here. Oh, you guys need iron plates, that's why I didn't have them. Oh, it doesn't matter much. Okay, you are processing, you are processing. You are trying to, but you cannot. You are also processing, you are. So why did I let these not, oh yeah, they are not connected on purpose. Okay, so what's the problem? 300 is flowing already. Look at here. How the hell is that even possible? 100 a minute? Oh. Wait. You're telling me you take 6 turbo fuel and you turn it into 10? Why am I even doing this? Megajoules, 3600. Okay, well, my bad. We need to do something very quickly with this, because that is less efficient than the other thing. So I need to make these two stop. Working on what they were working on. Okay. That should empty this pipe a little bit. Oh, it's already coming through. Okay. That's kind of sad that I made all of this and now I realize that it's less compact way of storing energy. I was compressed gas fuel. As used to generate power. So do I still go for rocket fuel or not? Can I even feed it to the thingy? Should be possible, but it is not. Is it not liquid? It's gas, so that's the thing I'm concerned about. Do you take any? You take rocket fuel. And you consume less. Okay. Well, I guess that's unexpected a little bit. How do we put you here? Still flowing 300. Should we put some kind of balls in here? Missing? Oh my god, rubber. I'm not missing rubber, I can tell you that much. Well, I was saying that no, but why is it that oh, heavy oil residue, right? Makes sense. So where should we put the valve? I put it anyway. Dang it! Twice. Wait, you already failed? That is unexpected. I didn't expect you guys would be filled that fast. Wait, is it curved? It is curved. Okay. Yeah, it's somewhere on working. Yes, I do. The problem is it will be curved regardless if I put it here. Yeah, it will be curved regardless, so that's not gonna help. So, how are we looking? We are missing one ingredient here on this fine. There we go. The amount of fuel is terrible. It's red. god, what's going on? What the heck? The heck? It did used to work. Something happened with my keyboard. That works. Why doesn't it have here? Okay, the keyboard is working fine, the game is ignoring it. Why? That's a good question. Everything would be that simple. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, now it works. Surprise. Mhm. Is that what it is? It's not flowing. It's still not flowing. What? It's in the right direction. It's just not a problem. Ah, it is flowing. Let's see how filled this are. Slowly getting filled, yeah. Okay, so now we are charging because we are producing more than we need. Well, that's gonna change soon enough. Now the question I have, should I go around, like all around, and then grab it over here, instead of going through here? That's what I want to know. Could be done, possibly. Let's start in the middle. Let's throw a wire across. Let's throw one over here. That's not great, yeah. And the other one needs to be somewhere here, I guess. Yeah, this needs to be divided a little bit. Maybe that's where I need to move this and producing part. Oh shit. No power. Wait, what? This one has power. That's why. Oh, I see. Makes sense. Yep, it's connected to the grid. And now is this charging? Very good. Oh. We are not this is a problem. I do not have a solution, so it's gonna be not that pretty, but it is what it is. Oh well, shit happens. Now let's see. Okay. And oh yeah, can you put a content here? Yes, you can do whatever you want. Heck yeah. The only sad part is we could have put more. Okay, so that's some storage. Is it gonna go down? Possible. Anyway, how are we looking over here? Yeah, put the field. Wherever I wanted to grass it, but we can't pump this one. Why are you not flowing? Hello? What is going on? Seems to be flowing. No, it doesn't look like this needs to be there because for whatever reason. No, I just... my timing was bad. Okay, let's see. It's still kind of full. Processing. In a minute. This is what I don't want to play. What the heck is... what kind of week is it? Well, this is promising. Oh, the 100 a minute, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, going to start. is almost filled. Why am I tired? So do that. Where is the game? What is it called? Was it? Yeah, this one. Jumbo, no. Okay. Downloads. Let's download. How big is this? 5 gigs. Not that big, not that long. And I added through different stuff. Maybe I'm not tired. I'm pretty much signing. Oh, you locked me off. You made too many requests recently. Please wait and try again later. How about screw you? My gosh. Jesus. Stupid. This is so stupid. Where do I put that? Here. Okay. I guess we have time. Do you know, look at this? Oh, that's something else. Gemini Cloud Code Giver is free. Interesting. Why you can get a job? How is reviews and it's going to be 2 days ago?
Picture this. It's the year 2052. You just posted an honest review about a product, and then, over the next few weeks, your video gets taken down.
I just realized something.
And there is an initiative.
Yeah, I have to watch this one too. Alright, let's watch this one. And
Picture this. It's the year 2052. You just posted an honest review about a product, and then, over the next few weeks, your video gets taken down, you get constantly harassed by bots, and then on top of that, the company that made the product threatens to sue you. Sounds pretty unbelievable and dystopian, right? Yep, it sure does. And for HouseFresh, a small independent review site dedicated to testing air purifiers, it's a reality right now. Within a month of their video review of the Pure Air 240 being posted, they got an anonymous tip that their review had been put forward as evidence in a pending lawsuit against Pure Air. Shortly afterward, YouTube pulled down their video and a legal letter hit their inbox requesting that HouseFresh amends their earlier written review, threatening that failing to do so would result in HouseFresh being taken to court for defamation. Right around this same time, HouseFresh posted an outstanding article that we actually discussed on the WAN show, explaining how Google is killing independent sites like theirs. So what is going on here, and who is to blame? Is it YouTube for attacking whistleblowers? Does Pure Air have any legal ground to stand on here?
It turns out that this rabbit hole is a deep one, including lucrative affiliate deals, Google's algorithm being abused to suppress real reviews, and even a big Chinese company that is attempting to prevent shipments of Pure Air's units that has led our two players here into a big misunderstanding. Because we reached out to Pure Air for comment, and oh boy, did that raise way more questions than answers.
So, it's time to strap in and dig deep. And who better to help me than, there he is, Danny from HouseFresh. These guys might face more legal complaints for being here, sorry about that, but they agreed to travel all the way here and share their story to help educate consumers and hopefully give other independent reviewers the benefit of their experience fighting this battle.
wait, I just realized. Wisebot, did you fail me? You did, didn't you? Yeah, he did fail me. What the hell? Anyway, let's play the video and I will look into that issue.
HouseFresh originally took an interest in the Pure Air 240 because the brand that made it appeared out of seemingly nowhere, and yet somehow it was one of the best-selling air purifiers on Amazon in 2023. Their review of it was pretty normal. They discussed that while the product seemed to work fine, it was an awful value when it was sold at $220 because, as it turned out, you could find some pretty similar looking devices on Alibaba for around 35 bucks. Well, 4 days later, perhaps coincidentally, their video got bombarded with dislikes and comments that appeared to originate.
This video is from 2 days ago. Didn't YouTube kind of, block the number of dislikes?
From Russia, a country that had rarely shown up on their analytics in the past. When we
Oh, I see. We are currently experiencing a technical problem and our team is working on it. Maintenance in progress. I have to admit that the page that contains, like Twitter feed for their Twitter channel, that actually does contain an information about this issue is like at least more useful than just a maintenance window saying like. So why is there a maintenance? Was it planned? Oh, I see. Well,
saw the traffic from Russia, we didn't really understand why, because we always publish our reviews in English. And the downvotes just didn't stop. Every day it was 10 downvotes, 10 downvotes, and it just carried on.
The next development was the anonymous tip that HouseFresh's review had been put forward as evidence in a class action lawsuit against PuroAir in California. That was followed 2 days later by the removal of their video from YouTube for, quote, counterfeit policy violation. And then 3 days after that, they received an email from PuroAir's lawyers requesting that HouseFresh amends or remove statements from their written review. When HouseFresh failed to amend the review, high five, by the way, PuroAir's lawyers sent them a pre-action protocol letter, which is the first step toward filing a defamation suit. Almost immediately, things went from bad to worse. 1 week after they responded to PuroAir, HouseFresh received a DMCA removal notice, and Google preemptively pulled their written review from their index. What that means is even if you went out of your way to search PuroAir 240 HouseFresh, it would not show up in your search results.
When we first saw that DMCA notice, that's when we started to worry, because YouTube was meant to be our plan B after our site was decimated in Google search. So the DMCA rules mean that anyone can make a complaint to Google, and if it matches the automated system, the page is taken out of the search. And you have to make an appeal to have a human look at it, but it takes at least a couple of days for someone to look at it. Because the system is automated, you can actually hire people for less than $10 to get any page removed. Our critical review couldn't be found in Google anymore, and this was a battle we were already dealing with in the SEO competition.
Obviously, that's a lot to digest, and it raises so many questions. Who the heck is PuroAir? And why did Google take the video down and then shadow ban a perfectly normal product review? Let's start with the first part. PuroAir and their 240 unit, which I happen to have right here with me. But since I personally know very little about what makes an air purifier good or bad, Danny will be helping me, and oh, he brought the very similar one that can be purchased factory direct from China. So, we're each going to tear down one of these with a focus on their differences and, maybe more importantly, their similarities. Step one. Hold on. Step one. Oh no. I think PuroAir's got a case here, man. That's a completely different sized outer carton. Breathe with confidence. 99.99% efficiency. I bet you don't have that.
I don't have anything.
Look at that. You got nothing here. I'll fix that for you. Here, hold on. No, I got you. Problems brand air purifier. It's got 99.
Fun fact, by the way, this HEPA 14, that's removed from their website and their Amazon listing.
Oh, really? But the 99.99%, that's still there?
I think that's still there.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's 50%. They get 99.99% 50% of the time.
This is something I jumped on a call and chatted with PuroAir about, both the verification of the HEPA 14 claim, but also why they removed it from their website. They mentioned that they were actually battling lawsuits and FTC claims done by a very dominant Chinese competitor, one that often challenges several of PuroAir's claims. And because of these claims, they found that from a marketing perspective, they saw no real benefit from fighting a possibly expensive case for a term that didn't seem to impact their sales. It kind of does call into question if they were even using HEPA 14 filters in the first place, since all they should need to do is show their certification for any filter that uses it, but we kind of know how well the legal system works, so. And it might seem weird that I had this note here, but I'll be back later to explain a bit more about why this Chinese competitor actually plays a much bigger role in this than you might think.
Well, you've got BKJ23A, and I got BKJ 23A the second.
Oh, well, that's completely different then.
But I'm sure I have stuff that you don't. Look, I get $15 off HEPA 14 filters. Not to mention a 2-year limited warranty and user manual.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what do you get? You get nothing. Yeah, you really did, though, get absolutely no manual or anything.
No, sadly not. No, nothing.
So the Chinese factory just assumes you're smart enough to figure it out.
Oh,
on
I've
your
got
own, or
some
what?
Chinese words.
Oh yeah, that was on the bag. Well, that says, do not put over your head and try to breathe. Oh wait, hey, look at that. Yeah, that's totally different. Mine's black.
Yeah, this is why.
And mine has the perforations at the bottom, and yours has them at the top.
No, it's just upside down.
I can see why you guys thought it might be similar. Oh, well, mine has a sticker. Here, tip it over. I wanna have a look here. Okay, so we've got a little honeycomb thing
Yeah,
going
so that'll
on
be
here.
like the sensor.
And this is really interesting. There's a little bit of a flaw in the mold where the plastic flows around these holes, and you can actually see that it's the same on both of these units. So not only is the design extraordinarily similar, they clearly come out of the exact same mold. And there would be no reason for two factories to shoot plastics into the same mold, allegedly.
Thank you.
Now we're looking at the bottom. See any similarities?
Yeah, it seems like the same design, basically, and the same foot, like the little feet.
Ah, yes. You say that, but can yours do this? Right, okay, well, okay, so they are both packaged in plastic.
Yeah, so that they don't get used in the factory, like in the warehouse.
But tell me this, Danny, if that is your real name, sounds made up to me. Does yours say Puro Air on it?
No, nothing.
Huh, otherwise it looks the same, doesn't it? I just found a difference. This piece right here uses a different mold on these two units. Wait, no, it probably doesn't. It's probably a large mold that they shoot plastic into, and it makes multiple pieces. So it would be a 1 in 2 or a 1 in 3 or a 1 in 4 chance of getting the exact same piece. So yeah, that doesn't prove anything.
So we should have bought 8 then.
Yeah, we should have bought even more. Wait, how many of these did we buy?
You can talk to accounting.
That's a new trick. How to not tell him how many.
This has an open, unauthorized seal, no guarantee.
Yeah, so one of the things they probably don't want you to see is that in their original marketing, they said they asked scientists from MIT and Harvard to design it.
Oh, so they don't want us to get their technology.
Potentially.
These molds are slightly different too, actually.
We've got the P13. I don't know if this one hasn't got it written on it.
And this one has like a bit of texture there. I'm getting very curious about why they clearly use the exact same molds for some parts and why they use different molds for others. These ones use the exact same mold. I'm looking for little imperfections, like there's a little blemish right here, and that blemish is on this one too. So these are the exact same mold, but these ones are not. Bizarre. Actually, here's a theory. This is an early version of the handle for our Noctua Edition screwdriver. And you can see there's kind of some swirls. So when you add dye to the plastics, even if you're using the same plastic, it can change the flow characteristics of it a little bit. And also different colors will show these kinds of lines more or less than others. Microsoft discovered this the hard way when they released a white version of the Xbox Series X. They actually had to completely redesign the mold in order to do that because the black version hid them, but the white version was covered in little whorls and little marks. Anyway, my point is that could be a reason why they would use a different mold for some parts on one versus the other, depending on how it flows. With that said, they don't seem to care that much about their mold quality anyway, so allegedly. Okay, now that's going to tell us a lot once Danny catches up to me here and makes his way to this control PCB. Oh my goodness, how many screws does this take? Ah! Oh my god, it really does look the same, doesn't it? So I'm clear, these guys got mad at you for saying that this and this seem to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
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 I mean, they're the same thing, down to the like off-kilter mounting of this resistor. Okay, but these are going to be totally different.
BKJ23AD.
Yeah, but
oh no, that is different.
mine has a totally different QC date.
Yeah, QC is different, so.
Actually, I don't even know if that's a date. What date code would 66 be? Evil one. Well, there's only one reasonable conclusion. After PuroAir did all of that MIT research, this Chinese factory copied them.
That's probably why we got our video removed then.
Seriously, obviously this is not how you guys would test an air purifier, right? Just like ripping it apart immediately. So how do you test them and make sure that this is HEPA or not HEPA or activated charcoal or whatever? How do you tell if it's good?
Well, the main thing is just using it. So we fill our test room in our home with incense smoke. We fill it up for 30 minutes, and then we track it with a purple air sensor that tracks the level of PM1, 2.5, and 10, and then see how quickly it takes to remove it, because that's the main reason why you would get an air purifier, to see how quick it can remove these tiny particles from the air.
Right, so it's like a dehumidifier sort of device for your space.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Sure, right. And that is definitely the kind of review that you would want to see when you Google Pure Air 240 reviews. So why did Google pull it?
So it might look like there's loads and loads of websites, but it's actually 16 companies that dominate the vast majority of search terms that people search for. That's why you see the same images and even the same recommendations from different publications owned by the same company.
And HouseFresh has more on their hands these days than just the legal battle with PureAir. They're also fighting a search engine battle. Even before their review was removed from Google's index, they discovered that search terms like best air purifier, which used to drive significant traffic to their site, just bring up garbage top 10 air purifiers articles now. And these are often written by people, or AIs, that have never tested or even touched the products that they're recommending. Oh, fun fact, by the way, I got bamboozled into buying incompatible windshield wiper blades for my car by just such a list. But Linus, you should have known better, right? Well, not necessarily. See, many of the publishing companies behind these listicles will go out and acquire trusted websites, ones that Google favors over lesser known sites. Then they'll immediately make cuts to expensive things like, product testing and writers. And then they'll use that brand and profit off of it until it becomes worthless. Then they move on to the next one. Wait, profit? Profit how? Well, these listicle sites have affiliate links, the exact same kind that you would find in the description of our videos. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but how a website goes about it can dramatically impact the user experience. On HouseFresh's page, for instance, they give their honest review, which might include a recommendation, but often doesn't, and they say, hey, if, having heard all of that, you still want to buy it, here's the link. Well, if you've ever scrolled through a top 10 listicle, you'll know it goes more like this.
Buy this, please.
No, buy this one, buy this one.
Guys, use my link.
These pushy sales tactics are just the tip of the iceberg, though. According to HouseFresh, commissions in the air purifier category are generally around 3%, but in PureAir's case, they are much higher. How high are they? Wait, percent? If I was an unscrupulous AI listicle mill, I would be very interested in percent commission on a $230 product. But come on, Linus, you might say. People are gonna see that high price and just buy something else on the list, right? Well, you'd think that, but what if everyone was complicit? What if every item in the damn listicle was selected purely to maximize commission rather than to maximize air purity? Now you see the problem. And you've got to consider the category of product too. People who are passionate about blenders, for instance, might immediately know that some random brand isn't worth it when they can just get a Vitamix at Costco for $400. But who's passionate about air purifiers? Me. Exactly. So by strategically selling products in low passion categories, these brands can mostly stay under the radar of enthusiasts and reviewers, and their high prices can actually create a perception of value for the uninformed consumer. Then they leverage that perceived brand value and they discount it, creating a perception of savings and a sense of urgency to buy. That is the playbook that PureAir used to rocket to #1 on Amazon. Lucrative affiliate deals drive recommendations, rocket to urgency to buy. That is the playbook that PureAir used to rocket.
Did he just shake hands in the midair?
To #1 on Amazon. Lucrative affiliate deals drive recommendations, which drive profits, which drive affiliate deals, and money printing machine go brrrr.
And while, yes, it's easy to shame PureAir since this is the company that has sued a reviewer, but they are far from the only company that might try these tactics in order to climb up the rankings ladder. And there's also nothing inherently wrong with using an offshore factory in order to manufacture a product for the Western market. But using the markup that you make as a way to leverage your position in the review space, that is not okay.
Now you've got the full picture. PureAware buys cheap products, sells them at a big markup, and then leverages their cash to go after negative reviewers with fake counterfeiting complaints. Luckily, HouseFresh had insurance that helped to cover some of their legal fees, but they aren't out of the woods yet. Just when they thought this saga was over, they received notice that their insurance provider will not renew their coverage if they continue doing reviews. Well, they're a reviewer. So what does that mean?
Because this is now deemed high risk, our insurance company won't provide us coverage. But we're not going to stop doing reviews because I think it's important that there's independent voices like ours telling consumers what works and what doesn't. The good news is there's no
There's no way the insurance companies are this stupid, but I already know the answer to that question.
legal active case for the PureAware 240 review, but we're still talking to our lawyers just in case.
Which is great, but the thing to remember here is that PureAware and HouseFresh are just small players in a much bigger game. This impacts everyone, even if HouseFresh can get insurance. What can they do about bot brigading or video takedowns? It's no secret that YouTube's copyright system has been open for abuse for years. And in many cases, it takes more copyright system has been open for abuse.
My video was taken down because of a copyright strike. I had permission to share a video. I really did nothing wrong. This is ridiculous. David Joseph Internet. That is very fucking sad. Basic for false copyrights. Audio visual. Yeah, I didn't really have anything better to do on my weekend other than disputing false copyright claims.
Used for years. And in many cases, it takes more time and resources to fight these things than it ends up being worth. Unless you just really care about air purification.
Since we want to continue reviewing air purifiers, we wanted to review the larger PureAware 400, but when we sent over questions that we had, we received an email from their lawyers.
Really? After everything that happened, HouseFresh still contacted PureAware about their new device, as they should, and PureAware, apparently having learned nothing, basically threatened them again, saying, "Stop with your fixation with PureAware." Oh, did we reach out to PureAware for this?
Yes.
Oh, and?
We're currently in talks with them.
We are in talks? What does that even mean?
I'll give an update now.
After I jumped on a call with two higher-ups, including the CEO at PureAware, I don't necessarily think that they are the devil in disguise or anything. It's clear that they just found a way to play the system and gain some ground. But I think many people would do the same thing if they could. But why does it seem like they have such
CEO that doesn't think shouldn't be a CEO.
a chip on their shoulder for HouseFresh? Well, you remember how I mentioned a Chinese competitor earlier? It turns out that PureAware has been battling a company called Lavoy, a company that makes a variety of home products, including air purifiers. Lavoy has opened court cases, FTC investigations, and even managed to hold cargo shipments at ports against PureAware in order to prevent them from entering the Western market. And from PureAware's perspective, the timing of Danny's negative review about the 240 unit, along with HouseFresh's positive reviews of some Lavoy units, made them suspicious that HouseFresh is simply just another attack vector. PureAware still seems convinced that HouseFresh is in bed with Lavoy, so we asked Danny to clear the air, and he said, quote, "We have as much of a relationship with Lavoy as we do with Winx, Koei, Smart Air, Xiaomi, Dyson, and many other brands. We have even asked PureAware to present proof of this in multiple legal communications, and they never did because there is no proof. It would be like saying that LTT is funded by Nvidia because we reviewed their graphics cards." Ouch, Danny must read our subreddit. Anyways, none of that changes the fact that they tried to sue a reviewer. It doesn't matter if they think it was an attack from a bigger player. And while we never found solid evidence about who sent the bot brigades and even the DMCA takedown, that is also not okay for any company to do or abuse. And I think there's some learnables for YouTube here as well.
That's an interesting detail that I didn't even think about. When your video gets DMCA removed, you don't get to know who raised it. That is fucking stupid.
Any system where you can hire someone as cheap as $10 to take down a video is a broken system.
So, what's the conclusion here then? Well, the good news is that there is a happy ending to the HouseFresh story, which we're going to get into in a bit. But the bad news is that this whole listicle affiliate thing is still 100% a problem. And the only solution to it is slow, painstaking, one person at a time education. So if you have someone in your life that you know trusts these listicle websites, grab a share link to this timestamp to help them identify a real review versus a clickbait listicle. Step 1. Hey, it's okay to use these listicles, especially for inspiration, but you should always search up the individual model numbers somewhere else before you buy, like on Reddit or on YouTube. Also, you're going to want to read or watch more than one review. Ideally more than 5, because the thing is, user reviews can be manipulated, and media reviews can be manipulated. But it takes a pretty well-coordinated effort to manipulate everything and bury every negative take on your product. Step 2, look at how hard they're shilling. This might sound obvious, but if they're pushing the purchase button in front of you before you've even had a chance to read a single word about the product, maybe it's time to find someone else who looked into it. A great way to know if someone has really put in the work is to see if they took their own photos or collected their own comparative data rather than just listing manufacturer specs. Finally, step 3. Do a quick sanity check on who wrote the article. If it's someone, ideally a real person, who has built a career on consumer trust and verified testing, I can almost guarantee you that they'll do a better job than some anonymous entity on a website that reviews everything on planet Earth. So, the happy ending for HouseFresh then. It seems like, for now, they're out of the woods. We're going to have their channel and their Patreon link down below, by the way, so you guys can go and support them.
Thanks for listening to us. And if you want to find out more about HouseFresh, you can now use Google to find us.
No one, no matter how big or how small, should be allowed to be shoved around for speaking the truth if they're putting in the work to back it up. If you guys enjoyed this video, head over to our RTX 5090 review. We had a ton of our team work on this, and we even had a ton of hosts help talk about every feature screwdriver.
Oh.
You can see there's video. Head over to our RTX 5090. 10 years ago.
What is this about the boxes? 4 hours. Really? Beta?
Silverstone announced a case that was unlike anything we'd ever seen before and is unlike anything we've seen since. Designed in collaboration with Charles Harwood, the creator of Murderbox, the X-Forma MBX Mark II was meant to be the ultimate marriage of timeless aesthetics and uncompromising performance. The perfect case. There was only one small problem. At a price of $1,250 plus accessories, it was out of reach for most mere mortals. So even though Silverstone only ever made 250 of these, so many of them remain unsold that Silverstone offered me a deal I couldn't refuse. They would send me all the cases, and in exchange, they wouldn't have to be the ones to store them anymore. I mean, there can't be that many of them, can there?
Yes, there can be.
Oh, lordy. Let's have a look at what they sent us, shall we? It's probably worth noting that while I respect Charles's work as an artist and do think the case is incredibly cool, I didn't actually want 3 pallets of them.
Shouldn't have asked for it then.
Well, it was less that I asked for them and more that if I didn't take them, they were headed to the scrapper, which I felt was not cool. And I know that Tony from Silverstone, who was the one who reached out to try to save these, feels much the same way. See, the MBX Mark II is not an entirely ground-up design. It's actually based on an older Silverstone case, the TJ07, which was gifted to me by my then-girlfriend, now wife, and I used for my daily driver for many years. It also happened to be a passion project of Tony's when he was a young project designer.
Oh man, look at how much dust is on this thing. This has been in the warehouse for a very long time.
This one was apparently for Joe.
So was this one. So was this one.
Dude, do you think that's the worst of it? What color do you think this X is supposed to be?
Whoa, probably closer to that red.
And I'm pretty sure some of these are scuffed on the inside too. Replace all screws, damaged from flood. How many of these do we have? I mean, they only made 250. How much of the total production do we have here?
We might actually have like a significant percentage. Like, let's see, there's 9 per pallet.
No, let's count them. We'll count them. We'll make a pile. Let's make a pile.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the sitch. We've got 27 total boxes for cases, but 2 of them are labeled side panel only, and then we have 5 boxes of accessories. These could include any number of things, ranging from the case basically doesn't really function without it, all the way to, wow, that is the most superfluous bullshit that I've ever seen. Most of the case boxes, 23 of them specifically, have similar markings. Something about being for Joe and needing a VV panel with a red tag. Those we piled up here. The ones we're more interested in are these. Flood damage, sample case, side panel only, and okay, this one's also for Joe, but it has a smiley face. 2 of them actually. What's the deal with that? Then this is for you, Joe.
My case finally arrived. I've been waiting a decade.
It's been 83 years. One tricky thing about the TJ07 and its derivatives is because it uses a unibody design for the top, front, and bottom. It's actually bent. Rather than being welded or riveted or stamped or anything cheap like that, it's really heavy.
Would that have also contributed to the high cost then?
Absolutely. Even without the modifications that Charles made, all of which made it far more expensive, the TJ07 was a $300 to $400 case back in the mid-2000s. Oh, it stinks.
Does it? Oh wow, yeah, it smells like vinegar.
Check this out. Have you ever seen one of these?
Not in person.
We had one kicking around the office for a long time. Charles actually did a build in it for us personally, but it got quite outdated for a showcase PC. So to give it a chance at a new life, we gave it away at the Christmas party and Colton won it. This is it.
Holy cow, that's cool.
It's still beautiful.
Wow.
The goal was timeless design, and Charles and Silverstone nailed it.
Wow.
The original case was full of 5 1/4 inch bays in the front. Charles
It looks good.
was extremely forward thinking and saw that 5 1/4 inch was going the way of the Dodo, replacing all those bays with this incredible looking machined light slit. That's not to say he didn't want you to have the option for an optical drive. This slit right here
Is that what
actually accommodates a slim optical drive loaded in through the top.
All right, that's kind of cool. Even if it is dated tech, it's kind of cool.
Another ahead of his time touch is that because Charles's philosophy was that cable management meant making your cables beautiful rather than hiding them, he actually had windows on multiple sides of the machine. One on the front, and one on the back of the motherboard tray.
I didn't even see that one at first.
This was meant to show off individually sleeved cables, something that Charles was one of the key drivers of back when that first hit the scene.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history behind this little guy.
It's a very cool case.
I mean, even just this like one continuous like cut with a little bit of slits in it.
Yeah.
It just looks so stylish.
Yeah, too bad it was a nightmare to manufacture. But these were Charles' touches. The original case had a couple of small exhaust fans here and actually accommodated dual power supplies, which
that's cool.
Is a cool feature, but not really a necessary feature. Yeah, Charles's impossible standards are both the reason that the case is so incredible and also the reason that it was probably always destined to fail.
That's so sad.
You can't build a super high-end boutique product in a commodity industry.
Sure.
Or rather you can, but it's really hard to find commercial success with it. Why do you think every case is stamped sheet steel?
Because it's cheap and then people will buy it because it's cheaper. Even just this piece is like got weight to it. Is this what goes at the front there? Oh, it totally does. That was a very satisfying click.
Okay, so that's what for Joe looks like. Why don't we put Joe aside and have a look at a couple of the other interesting ones?
Yeah.
What are you feeling next?
The sample one, because if that was the production unit, I want to know what a sample looks like.
Sure. This one has both side panels, so that's something.
Oh, interesting. Oh, and it's got stuff in it.
Yep. There we go. Oh!
Classic.
Comes off like that. There we go. Okay. Dude, these are in great shape so far.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
My understanding is that some of them are here because they didn't meet Charles's standards, and he determined they couldn't be sold. So
maybe that's what for Joe meant. Like Joe had to like inspect them or look at them or something. We need to find out who Joe is. The great Joe mystery.
this is a diffusion layer with a gradient on one side. The idea was that I think it goes behind these guys right here to give the lighting kind of like a diffuse look.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Kinda cool?
That's really cool. One thing I'm noticing now is you mentioned the stamped sheet metal before. It looks like this whole case can just like come apart because of all the screws and everything was like each its own sheet.
Everywhere screws, no rivets.
Oh, that's so cool.
The model number is SST-CP.
Wait.
No rivets.
Why would you do it that way? To have airflow? This thing.
Oh, that's so cool.
The model number is SST-CPF04. I'll give you 3 guesses what it is.
It is a bracket to hold your GPU.
It's a repurposed box full of a whole bunch of other random stuff.
Oh. We have number 169. We have a label for 169. Let's go. I'm confused.
Neat.
Like, what is it?
Not sure.
Okay. Oh, I'm even more. Oh, wait, no, this is like a fan.
So you can power your GPU off your fan headers.
No, I think it's.
It's gotta be for one of the accessories.
Okay, I'm so confused. And the last baggie here.
That's
which
wild.
has 2 standoffs and this.
Ah, yes, this.
Do you know what it's for?
No.
Okay.
But I know what this is for. This is for slimline optical drives.
Oh, okay. So you could use the front one here.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, we missed something.
Oh, did we?
This has a quad radiator mount in the bottom and a giant fan filter.
Ah.
So you could put a quad radiator down here. I actually modded my TJ07 to fit a quad radiator in the bottom.
But seeing all those accessories honestly raises more questions than we had before.
Dude, I don't even know if we have enough of the accessories to build systems in them yet.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
What were all those cables and why did we need them?
You had a box that was labeled accessories before on the pallet.
If we need them for all of... Okay, let's just...
Okay, take a step back.
Yeah. You know what I'm feeling next, Elijah? Side panel only.
You know what? There's actually more than one box now that I'm looking at the colors.
That looks heavier than the other boxes.
No, I'm just hamming it up. Go for it.
Okay. My back. Oh my lord. Whoa, I see some color.
Okay. Well, that's not a side panel.
Holy crap, we have a lot of radiator mounts.
What a weird way for it to ship. With just the one side panel, and then the other side panel, which you definitely totally need, being like this.
Maybe that's just how Silverstone shipped it to us.
But this wouldn't exist if that hadn't been part of the idea behind it.
But like, this is so jankily made. There's no way it's shipped to you like this.
Well, no, it actually does kind of make sense, because the way that you bought this case was through a configurator. There was no just the case.
I see, okay.
Yeah, you had to go through a whole almost PC builder level process to determine what all the options you had were. So there might be other side panels that I forget about that were not this. So that's why they're not in there.
I see, that makes more sense then.
And for a low volume thing, you'd be surprised how janky stuff can be. Is that all that's left in there?
The only one I noticed is this one's white.
Oh.
But I think the rest of them are just the exact same. Nope.
What's that say? Loose grill. Okay. Maybe it means it didn't pass QC. Oh my God. This failed over this gap.
That's insane.
Dude, Tesla'd be like, send it.
Logo plates, 10 pieces.
Let's go! This is the flood damaged one. That's right. It was there when the Master Chief was defeated.
It looks totally fine.
Huh. Little watermark there. Oh, and it's off.
What else? Is anything wrong with this?
Okay, you know what? There is some corrosion. This wasn't just flooded. I think this thing got hit with like salt water. Check out some of this corrosion. It's good enough for our customers, tell you that much.
What customers?
I don't know, maybe we'll build systems?
Ooh, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe we can like auction them or something and make some premium systems for some people.
See what happens. I don't know. I'm thinking. I'm cooking. Let's each pick an accessory box and we'll let the audience vote for who picked the coolest one.
I want the small one.
Well, someone was bound to want the small one. I want the heavy one. Oh, yeah. What are these?
Is this just a bag? Oh, no. No, it's literally just a box of these. There's hundreds of them.
I, on the other hand, have what appears to be the entire shipment supply of those random brackets that we found earlier.
I have one.
You got one. I got some cable management clips.
Okay.
All right, that's something. Oh.
Oh, those are all
front grills.
Oh, my God.
This is an accessory box.
Oh, sure. This is what would go with each case then?
Good.
Good.
Now things get even more interesting because I have sub boxes. Look at all of these O-rings.
What would they be for? Like
reservoirs. Yeah, buddy.
Whoa.
They did a custom res for this case. Okay, what else we got?
Is this more?
These are bottoms.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd be able to relate.
You beat me to it, damn it.
SATA backplane.
Would this go in like the 5 1/4 inch bay area?
Yes. Are these not in the cases? Do the hard drive bays of any of those even work? Hey, I answered your question. This is what those random fan headers and 4-pins are for.
Cool.
So they're doing, what the crap is all this? Well, look at all these 3-pin fan headers. So this is like a janky old school fan hub.
And then even more SATA ports? Is that, yeah.
No, these are the input.
Oh.
And then there's your optical and your 3 hard drives.
That's, wow. I'm kind of speechless because I didn't expect it to look like that. Oh, no. I see one in here. Wait, no, this is a different one. It's like a mini version.
Oh, that's PCB 1.
You compensating?
This is one man's something and one man's something else, but am I the guy who got the trash or the treasure?
Well,
it's cool.
The value of these, it might be treasure.
Is it though?
The last one apparently sold in April of this year for $2,200 US on eBay.
What?
So like if we actually have as complete of a system as that one was, we have like 40 grand of cases.
Extra hard drive cage.
Something.
Oh, that's the fan grill for the top. There was an alternate one.
Oh, I see.
So these weren't installed in all of them. There was a way cooler one. I don't know if we're gonna have any here though. Here's a new cable. Just little tiny 3-pin fan extension, male to male. Sure. What have you got?
This.
Ah, yes. That. Okay, here comes another accessories box.
Ah, yes. More SATA cables.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh my.
These are all the slimline ones for optical drives. Oh my.
Dude.
You can tell these weren't a hot seller.
No, they had to make so many because they sold so many.
What do you got? What do you got?
Oh, this is what was like a checklist of what was included in the accessory box.
Oh, excellent. We are not going to have a lot of this stuff. Like this acrylic light block that's supposed to be in the included accessories, we got one of those. The Duratrans media strip, we got 2.
At least it'll help us maybe complete some of the other boxes or shift it around. Wow, it came with a lot of cables.
Well, yeah.
Oh, these are like LEDs.
Yeah. No, they're not like LEDs. Those are LEDs.
Oh, and then here's your, all of your like shrink wrap, I think?
Yeah. 382. Someone counted these.
Not good
I feel sorry for the person.
use of time.
Should we get someone to count that to verify?
No.
Okay.
Grommets.
Cheese, grommet.
Oh, okay. Cable management majigs.
Even more.
Whoa!
Oh, we got more.
Oh, buddy, we
Oh, and
got
different colors.
We got different colors. Oh, okay.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, we're back in business.
Oh, we can sell these now.
Can sell. I don't know what to do with them, to be honest with you.
Oh, there's the acrylic pieces.
Here's all our acrylic pieces.
We're back in business.
The only question that remains then is what do we do with them? Pitch one, we start a boutique system builder that sells only to people named Joe.
We might be able to sell one.
I mean, there's a Joe who works here. He needs a PC.
Is there?
Floatplane support Joe.
Oh, I was gonna ask Joe who. What about option two? Maybe we make some of these the whale PCs for our Whale Land event.
Assuming Whale Land is able to go forward, still pending some details. That's not bad. We could save at least a couple specimens for our next charity stream. Just an idea?
Yeah.
They might take forever to build in though, that's kind of my concern.
Oh, we can do it. Our last stream was like 8 hours. We've got nothing but all day. Or maybe we just need help from you guys.
Yeah, let us know if you have any brilliant ideas. If you guys enjoyed this video, you might also like the vibe of the time that we got these like cooling towers and unboxed them. Found them in an alley. True story.
Bullshit. Alright, well, I guess this is as obvious and as it gets. And, oh, it did get it. Really? Ah. Yep. Okay, well. Have a good night. It's gonna be midnight in 4 minutes, so it's appropriate timing. Have a good night. Bye.